Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Anubhava Payana. Like quoted, set your goals higher and don't stop until you reach there. Bigger the goals, bigger the efforts, and efforts never go in vain. Here we have with us today CA Tabish Hassan, who has been a proud Alvars alumni as well as a passionate aspirant of CA and now a successful one. Let us talk to the man himself who has achieved what he has dreamt of. Welcome, Tabish.
Thank you.
How did you feel on achieving something so big in your life?
They say memories last forever. So it was one such memory which would be there with me all through my life. It was 21st of March. I can vividly remember everything that happened. From this day, the notification came telling that results are going to be out that day. That nervousness, anxiety, being one of the toughest examination, even though I had given my best, still that feeling was, would I be in a position to clear the examination or not? So the whole night went that way, and next day till evening, everybody is just waiting, parents, everybody around. Everybody was expecting that I would make something big because I had put in all the efforts, but still somewhere I was very tensed. That's what happens with every examination, no matter small or big. This was probably the biggest exam of my life. And somewhere around in the night, 10, there was such a delay. And somewhere around 10 p.m. the results came. So I checked my results. For a moment, I was numb. I didn't know what to do. Although I had prepared for that, I dreamt of it for 3 long years. Every day I imagined this is what is going to happen. But when that moment came in front of me, I was speechless. I didn't know what to tell. I was just there silent for 2 minutes. My parents were there, my family was there. Everybody congratulated. I didn't know what was happening around. But it took some time to sink in. But it was an amazing feeling, one which I'll carry throughout my life. That gave me, everybody got to know about me. I'm an introvert. I don't generally speak out to people. Nobody generally speaks out to me as well. But that day, the number of calls I got, I wouldn't have got any other day in my life. So that was very special.
Have you always dreamt of being a chartered accountant? Was always your goal?
I've always been good at maths, and business is something which I was very fond of from my beginnings. So I decided chartered accountancy would be the course for me because it has a bit of maths, accounting, clubbed with everything that's happening in and around us, the business, how business are run. So that's when I decided probably I should be doing CA because that's what I felt my interests lie. That's where I felt I could excel, I could be good at. So that's how I ended up choosing CA as my career. But once I chose CA, there was no looking back. CA is a tough course and almost 90% of them quit in between. So there were so many moments wherein I felt if I had to give up or not, will I be in a position to do it or not? So many questions were there. But before I chose CA, my dad told me, it's a tough course. We are giving you the whole independence. If you want to do it, you can do it. There's no pressure. But once you've taken it, there's no looking back. So I said, okay. So that stayed with me throughout. So no matter how many difficulties came, I was like, okay, this is what I have decided for myself. So there's no looking back. So that's how, irrespective of whatever difficulties, troubles and everything was there, I somehow managed because I had that in my mind that there's no going back. This is what I have chosen for myself. This is what I'm destined to be. So this is what I'm going to do with all my efforts. So that's how I've cleared the examination.
Like we are aware, the CA examination is cut into 3 different phases, which is the foundation, the inter and the finals. So narrate us to the journey of how your preparations begin from the foundation till the end.
Foundation is the entrance level examination which we can do after our 12th or 2nd PU. So I started coaching for my CA foundation in Alvars itself. So once I'd cleared my 2nd PU, in June we had the foundation examination. It is also called as CPT. So most of the coaching was done in Alvars itself. So a bit of preparation, mock, and I gave the examination. I secured 177 out of 200. So I was the 2nd highest in Karnataka in that examination. Then going to inter, generally the pass percentage in foundation is somewhere 30%. 30% of the aspirants who give the foundation examination are in a position to clear the examination. Inter, of the people who have cleared, 8% of them clear the examination. Inter is generally tough to crack. Usually students are not in a position to crack that in the very first attempt. So from the very beginning, we all had that thought in our mind telling that inter is going to be tough, we need to be prepared for that. So after my foundation, I went to Chennai for my coaching for CA Inter. So for the first week, I was all ready, all disciplined. I'm generally a lazy person, not that disciplined. I do things at the very end. That's how I've done all my life. But I've decided it's inter, it's going to be difficult, so it's better we be prepared for that. So 1 week I tried, I attended the classes punctually. But after a week, I felt somewhere disconnected with that. It's not something I had done throughout my life, so I didn't have enough motivation to do it. And anyways, inter was 9 months away, so I thought, okay, let's take it slowly. We anyways have 9 months. So 3-4 months passed by. I was in Chennai, classes were going, but I wasn't going there. I was sleeping all day, scrolling through on my phone, using WhatsApp, going around with friends, partying. That's what happened for 3-4 months. And all of a sudden, for Diwali, so back in 2016, I came back home. I came back home from Chennai. So generally my dad has never asked me anything about my preparation, my studies till date. But that day all of a sudden he asked me, how's your preparation going? And generally I don't lie as well to my parents. In the flow I said, it's going good. But while going back on my journey back to Chennai, that question was there with me throughout. It was haunting me. My parents are expecting I am studying. Everybody is thinking that I am going to clear the examination in the very first attempt, but what am I doing? I'm doing nothing. I'm sleeping, going around, doing nothing, just wasting my time. So this question kept on coming in my mind for a long time. So I thought it was too late to catch the bus. They were already teaching me advanced subjects, but I didn't even have the basics, the foundations. So I realized there's no point staying in there because I'm not in a position to understand anything. So I decided I come back home, I'll try cracking it on my own. It was a brave decision, but I didn't know how hard it is going to be. We all at times have that inner feeling which tells us to do something. The conscience. Steve Jobs tells, trust your instincts. They somehow already know the way. So while I discussed to everyone, should I discontinue the coaching happening there, come back and study? Everyone told it's a stupid decision. But somewhere my instinct was telling me, this is the only way for me to clear the examination. So I trusted my instincts. I told my parents I'm coming back home. They happily agreed. They asked me, you've given it a thought. Are you sure you're going to do it on your own? I said yes. I came back. I had somewhere around 5 months to prepare for my examination. So I gave everything I had because it was a decision I chose for myself. Throughout my life, every decision I had chosen for myself. And when we take decisions for ourselves, the onus is on us to never let our parents down. My parents had given me complete freedom to take my decisions. So I thought, I've taken this decision for myself. So no matter how hard it is going to be, I'll have to manage. So I came back. I tried figuring out how to do things. So from the very basics, I googled certain things, I watched YouTube videos, I read different resource books, and somehow in 5 months, I wasn't 100% prepared, but I was prepared to such an extent that I was in a position to clear the examination. So I cleared my examination, I got 472 out of 700. So once I got my results, I came to know that I was just 8 marks short of an All India rank. In CA generally they award ranks for the top 50 students. So I was just 8 marks short of an All India rank. A person who scored 480 marks had secured an All India rank 50. I was just 8 marks short. That day I was just happy telling that anyhow one part of my journey is done. There's no way looking back at those books. So end of the journey. But later on, again that question kept haunting me. I've wasted 4 months. One subject I had not prepared at all. Still I scored 472. So if I could have prepared properly, I could have secured a rank. And securing a rank, more than that feeling of, more than getting a rank, it is that journey through which we get to a rank which is more beautiful. That determination, that preparation, that journey, that discipline, which I had never done in my life. I thought I have one final examination, which is going to be my CA final examination. I decided this is going to be my last professional examination, and no matter what, throughout my life, every exam, I was always under-prepared. I was never prepared for 100%. There was never an exam where I was like, okay, I've prepared everything, I'm just going to go and write. Even till the very last minute, I was just glancing at things, few concepts here and there. So I decided this is going to be my final exam. I don't care if I'm going to get my results or not. I don't care how much marks I'm going to get. But the efforts I'm going to put in for this examination should be at my best. At the end of the examination, I should not feel that probably if I would have put in a bit more efforts, I would have secured more marks, I would have secured a rank. So with this intention, with this determination, I began my journey for my finals. 3 years, I tried working every day. Obviously, there are going to be ups and downs in the journey, there are going to be bumps, there are going to be days when we feel like we cannot study, there are going to be off days, but somehow throughout everything I've managed, and finally in my final examination, I've secured an All India rank 10. So this was all in all my journey of my examination.
So the foundation that you've had has first begun in Alvars, since you've stated it before. How has Alvars helped you in the entire molding process of becoming a CA?
They say there is no way to reach the end without mastering the beginning. So the initial days of my PU journey, wherein I've learned the basics of accounting, the basics of what business is, the basic of the business maths, and the foundation for CA examination, I have got it in Alvars. So the foundation was set right. The teachers ensured that we are learning it conceptually, we are understanding every concept with, not just with how to solve the questions, but why the concept has come, what the concept is, what is its application. So firstly, it set a strong foundation for me based on which I could do my entire journey. That's the first thing. Secondly, it built discipline. As I've already stated before, I was and I am also a very lazy person, but I was in Alvars hostel. So irrespective of whether we were willing or not, we were supposed to wake up at 5 in the morning, sit for 12 hours for study. So at that moment, we were cribbing about it. But later on in our journey, those days were the most memorable ones, because at that point we had no distractions. If we wanted to study, that environment for study, I can tell I've got it nowhere. That environment for study, that motivation for study, wherein everybody in and around is sitting and studying. We have a person who's there to monitor us. So it built discipline. So in a way it built discipline, we being there washing our own clothes, waiting for the food, waiting to speak to our parents. So that built discipline, that gave a sense of purpose to what we are doing. Even though we were just doing our 11th and 12th, it gave a sense of determination, telling that if we want to achieve something in life, we need to sacrifice few things, we need to go through the hard route. That's the second thing. And it also gave me healthy competition. As we know, Alvars is a big ocean. So generally we come from smaller places wherein we'll be the topper. There are only few students will be the topper. So when we come to Alvars, there's so many people from every part of the state, every part of the country. So many people are there, everybody is good at studies. So for a moment we feel lost. But then we build a connect with every person in the hostel. We are so good as friends. So it builds a healthy competition wherein we want to try to bring out the best version of ourselves. And that helped me throughout my journey, because throughout my journey I knew that if I'm going to put in my best, there's nothing that's going to stop me from reaching my goals. So that healthy competition helped me a lot. And I will say I've got probably the best memories and the best friends of my life being in the Alvars hostel for 2 years. The fun we had, every night conversations, unending talks, getting scolding, standing outside. All those are beautiful memories which are going to stay for a lifetime. So Alvars has helped me so much in being a better professional, in being a better person, having better friends. So in every different aspects.
Since you mentioned 12 hours of studying the entire time, how involved were you in co-curricular activities in the same college?
I've told 12 hours they make us sit for study. I have never studied for 12 hours, and I believe it's humanly not possible to study effectively for 12 hours. That's a different thing altogether. We need to measure not on the basis of hours we study, but on the basis of output we are trying to pull out from the hours. Coming to the co-curricular activities, I was very involved. I love to speak, interact with people, so I was very active, and I participated in various elocutions, seminars, debates. So back in Alvars, I had represented our college in the state level elocution and debate competition. And even after that, during my CA journey is dry in itself. So if you are not putting in any co-curricular activities, if you are just sticking it to study, it is going to be very boring. There's not going to be any fun. So I used to take part in various elocution seminars. So I had represented ICI and India at various seminars at national and international levels. I got a privilege to represent India at the International CA Students Conference, which was held in Sri Lanka, and many national conferences at different places like Pune, Delhi, Indore and other places. So that's what I would do. Again, at the same time, we used to play, go for trips, party, enjoy the process, because unless we enjoy the process, we won't have the motivation to sit and study.
So how has this COVID period affected your preparation for being a CA?
I was in the last stages of my CA. I was preparing for my CA final examination when the lockdown was announced. So I had just finished my articleship. My articleship was about to end by March, and the day I reached home was the day the voluntary lockdown was announced. So it was just a matter of one day. I somehow reached home, but all my books, all my resources were still in the courier. So for 2 months, because of the lockdown, I didn't have any of the books with me. So I had to learn with whatever I have, with the online resources, PDF notes, trying to underline with whatever the resources were available at home, with the rough books, pens. And even to buy some online classes, courier was not available. So that was one of the biggest hindrance during the COVID period. I was in the last 6 months of my preparation, and everything all of a sudden came to a halt. Everything I had prepared, I had planned, I'll be having these resources, these are the resources I'm going to buy, but all of a sudden nothing is available. So for 1 or 2 months, things went haywire, but along with the things we learned to adopt, I altered my plan a bit. I started with whatever was available. I tried making use of the online resources. I made a habit of learning with the PDF notes using my laptop. So that's how it happened. But apart from that, there was not much of an impact. I was anyways, for these 6 months, I had planned that I'm not going out anywhere. It's anyways my final leg of preparation. I was planning to sit at home and prepare. So it was COVID, it did not change anything. The only thing was I had everyone around me. I had my parents, my brothers, everybody was also at home. So that was in a way beneficial for me. Whenever I felt I was not in the mood to study, all of us would play, all of us would speak. So that way it kept me entertained, and I was fresh as well. But yeah, there were a few challenges. I had a habit of going for a jog every morning. So because of COVID, I could not do that. So that energy we get in the morning, I was somewhere feeling that I didn't get that energy, those morning vibes. And small things here and there, we always tend to lose when we don't have the freedom. But it told us how important these days are, wherein we can go the way we want, do the things we want. So that's what it was.
So ever since you have cleared the exams, you have taken up teaching instead of going to an industry. Why is that, and how did that change everything for you?
I've always been passionate about teaching speaking, reaching out to people. And from my preparation stages, while I was in Alvars, my friends would come to me with their doubts and I would solve it for them. So they've told me I have a different way of presenting things. I could make things simple and relatable for them. And teaching was something which I loved. There's also that and I also felt that during my entire preparation there were different phases wherein I felt, oh, if I had guidance of a person who could tell me what to do, what not to do, give me a general perspective of the way in which I would proceed, it would be a lot better for me. I would not commit mistakes. So I wanted to be that person which I dreamt of having in my life. So I thought of doing something for my students so that while they are taking up the course, they have someone to guide them on how to be, what things to do, what things to avoid, to tell them it's okay even if they're not in a position to crack it in the very first attempt, to tell them age is not a factor, time is not a factor, resources are not a factor, it's ultimately about how much we are putting in. So that's what I felt. I felt somewhere I could contribute to the community for the students by being a mentor. We have so many tutors, we have so many people who are teaching, but I wanted to be more like a mentor who can gel along with the students, who can relate to them and make things simpler for them. So that was my purpose, that was my passion, and so I chose teaching instead of getting into the industry.
So as a mentor, what would you like to express or impart on all those big dreamers out there from smaller cities or big, and who aspire to be what you are with minimal resources?
Firstly, dream big. There's nothing going to happen without a dream. The dream is the foundation for everything. So I dreamt of getting a rank, I worked for that, I got. So dream big, do not limit yourself for dreaming. Dream whatever is it that you want to achieve, because we all have one life. We'll be choosing one time any professional course which we want for our life. So dream big. Whatever we are doing, do it with every passion. Do it with, put everything that you've got. So firstly, dream big. Secondly, focus on what is controllable. So many times we think of things which are not controllable. We tell COVID has ruined my preparation. I don't know if the institute is going to keep the examination tough. So an external thing is coming and harming me. So we cannot do anything of that. So paper may come tough, COVID may come again. So we never know that. But focus on what is in our control. So that makes things a lot more simpler. We worry about only the things for which we can take action. So we can think of anything, but for the things which are not controllable, there is no point worrying. We cannot do anything of those things. So think of the things which are in our control. Plan, have a good plan for yourself of what you have to do, what you have to be, and stay excited. I read a story which was there with me throughout. So we would have all heard of Arnold, who's probably the greatest bodybuilder of all time. So in his prime days, when he was preparing for Mr. Olympia, he was in the gym working out for 8-10 hours every day. So everybody else who was working out had a sore face. They looked very tired. But every time he came, he was all excited. He was all pumped up. He was all ready. So they asked, it's so hard. How can you be excited? He said, every rep, every step is taking me one step closer to my goal. And I cannot wait to do another 500 push-ups, squats, because I can see myself going closer to that goal. So with every step, tell that this step is going to take me one step closer to my goal, and stay excited all the time. That's the only way we can get the motivation to go further. It's going to be a long journey ahead. There are going to be so many ups and downs. But if we know every step we are going to take is taking us one step closer, that gives us the energy, that gives us the drive to keep going, irrespective of whether it's light, it's dark, whether we can see the destination, we cannot see whether we are close, we are far. So stay excited all the time. Know that everything you're doing, everything you're going through has a purpose. Every struggle you're going through has a purpose. So there is someone who is watching out there is a God who's looking out for everything. He knows the efforts we are putting in. He knows what our dreams are, and He will never let us alone. So have that in mind and put everything you have. Do not limit yourself while you're putting in the hard work. That's the thing. And I always tell, CA is not tough. It is for tough people. It is not a course which is tough, which cannot be cracked. But we need to be tough on ourselves. We need to restrict ourselves from doing the mistakes. We need to restrict ourselves from getting addicted to the wrong things. We need to stay disciplined, dedicated on our preparation till the time we crack it. So we always get to choose. Either we have the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. So I always felt the pain of discipline is hard, but it's much lesser than the pain of regret. So that pushed me to study, and wishing all the best to everyone. See you on the other side.
Dream big, start small, take smaller and safer steps without quitting, and that will take you ultimately to your destination. With this, I would like to thank Mr. Tabish for taking us through his journey. And here we end this episode of Anubhava Payana. See you until next time.